Today, we're diving into one of the Quran's most intense chapters, Surah Hud. Now, it's packed with stories of civilizations that have come and gone, but if you look closely, there's a hidden structure, a kind of repeating pattern. So let's unpack that structure together and figure out its powerful message.
So this is the big question we're tackling. You have this one chapter detailing the collapse of multiple civilizations, but it's definitely not random. There's a clear template at play here. Our job is to figure out what that pattern is, and maybe, more importantly, why the Quran lays it all out this way.
Right from the get-go, the Surah establishes its authority. It says, hey, this isn't just a collection of stories. This is a book of perfected verses from God himself. And then it gives us the core message, the foundation for everything that's about to follow. Worship God and only God. Simple as that. What's so interesting here is how simple the opening offer is. The whole chapter is really built on these two ideas. First, Tawheed, which is pure monotheism, worshiping God alone, and second, istighfar, which means asking for forgiveness. The deal is pretty straightforward. Follow this path, and you're promised blessings. This is the benchmark, the standard that every single civilization we're about to meet will be judged against. Okay, so the first major story we get is about the prophet Noah. And pay close attention here, because this isn't just one story among many, it's the master template. If you can understand the sequence of events here, you've basically got the key to the entire chapter. So Noah's message gets rejected, but notice why it gets rejected. It's not because of some deep philosophical disagreement. No, it's pure arrogance. The leaders, the powerful elite, they look at him and just see a regular guy. Then they look at his followers and see the poor, the marginalized, the lowest of us, as they put it. And on that basis alone, they dismiss the whole thing. And this is the moment where just disagreeing turns into open defiance. They don't just reject Noah's message, they start mocking him. They actually challenge him, and by extension God, to bring it on. Bring on the punishment you keep warning us about. It's an incredible moment of hubris. This part is just gut-wrenching, and it drives home one of the surah's most critical points. This whole thing isn't about family ties or tribal loyalty, it's about individual faith. Noah's own son rejects the warning. He thinks he has a better plan. He'll just climb a mountain. But the flood shows that salvation is tied to belief, not to your bloodline. So there it is. We've just seen a clear four-step pattern, and this is the key to everything. Step 1, a prophet arrives with that core message we talked about. Step 2, he's rejected, usually by the elites. Step 3, the people then defiantly challenge God to act. And finally, step 4, judgment arrives, saving the believers and wiping out the rest. Keep this pattern in your head. Now watch how this pattern starts to build, because Noah's story wasn't a one-time thing. The surah starts rapidly firing off stories of other prophets, and you'll see their experiences followed this exact same template. It creates this powerful rhythmic echo throughout the chapter. Just look at this. The people of Ad, their sin was arrogance about their physical strength. Samud, they violated a direct divine sign, a special she-camel. The people of Lot, grave immorality. And the people of Shu'aib, theirs was economic injustice, cheating people in the marketplace. Then you have Pharaoh, whose sin was pure tyranny. You see, each group had its own unique major sin, but the pattern of call, rejection, defiance, and consequence, it's exactly the same every single time.
Okay, so after laying out all these historical examples, the surah makes a really important shift. It zooms out from the fate of entire nations in this world to the ultimate individual fate of every single soul in the next. And the contrast could not be more stark. The surah lays out two final destinations. For the woeful, it's a fire filled with wailing, and it's described as eternal. But for the joyful, it's a garden described as an unending gift, which is also eternal. It's the ultimate outcome of that very first choice presented at the start of the chapter. And all of this brings us to the most important question of all. Why this structure? Why tell story after story of destruction? It might seem like it's just a book of warnings, but the text itself tells us there is a very specific primary reason for all this repetition. So what is that reason? Well, the surah explains that these stories aren't just history lessons. They've been very carefully chosen to serve a very specific purpose for the person listening, for you and me right here and now. After this whole marathon of stories, the Quran gives us one single, crystal clear reason for why it told them in the first place. And there it is.
The verse says that the whole point of all these stories is to strengthen and steady the heart of the prophet, and, by extension, the hearts of anyone who believes. Just imagine you're facing rejection and ridicule. Hearing that every single prophet before you went through the exact same thing, and that God's plan always won in the end, that's a massive source of spiritual and psychological strength.
So you see, the entire structure is building towards this final set of takeaways. The stories are meant to make you strong. They're a reminder of what happens when people choose arrogance over faith. And the final lessons are all commands you can act on. Be steadfast. Don't compromise or lean on people who do wrong. And understand that true patience is an active strength, and it will absolutely be rewarded. And this is the powerful command that the whole chapter has been leading up to. After showing you the pattern of history, after showing you the consequences, the final instruction isn't to be afraid. It's to have firm resolve. Be steadfast. The past is a lesson. The future is unknown. So your job right now is to simply worship God and put all your trust in Him, knowing that the final outcome rests in His hands.